Hey, what's up? Hello, my name is Emma and welcome to another episode of Booktubing 101 where I'm going to be teaching you guys all of my tips and tricks on how to survive booktube. Today's video is centered all around receiving books to review. Since booktube is now being recognized as a marketing platform for a lot of different publishing industries, it's very common that you're going to be seeing somebody reviewing a book that they were sent. And obviously this is something that a lot of booktubers are concerned with now. You know, we all want to put our name out there in the publishing industry, we all want to receive books to review, so it's something that I felt was really important to share in this Booktubing 101 series. Now this video is totally just based off of my experience working with publishers and authors and such. Your stories of you working with people to review copies of books is completely different from mine. So these are just my tips based off of my experiences. You get it? So if I say something and it's not totally going along with what happened with you when you were dealing with reviewing books, that's totally fine. I'm not saying that my experiences are exactly the same all throughout YouTube. Like, no. This is just me and me trying to give you a few tips. So obviously step one of getting a review copy is getting emails. First of all, if you want people to contact you for books to review, you definitely have to make your email address public. It's definitely not professional to contact somebody on Instagram or Twitter, or even Goodreads requests are definitely not at the level of an actual formal email, so make sure you have that business email address wherever they can contact with you available. While I have received a Goodreads request or two, email is the main way that I have been contacted for review. So if you want review books, having an email set up in public is definitely the way to start. Don't expect to start receiving emails the second you start a booktube channel. I got my first review request when I had about 500 subscribers, but I have friends that have almost 2,000 that haven't even gotten a single one. Naturally, as your channel grows, you're going to be getting more review requests, but it's super random, so don't get discouraged if you don't get them right away. Now, like I said, it's very random, so I don't really have many tips as to how you can actually get more review requests. The only thing I can really suggest is that you start doing more reviews. I know I don't do a lot of reviews on my channel unless it's a review copy or it's like a super massive book that I've been wanting to come out for a while and review. That's something that I'm trying really hard to get out of the habit of. I mean, we get so overwhelmed with hauls and tags and discussions that we kind of forget about the reviewing bit of booktube, which is a massive part of this community. To me, logically, a publisher who is going through booktube and looking for people to send books is going to skip over somebody whose channel is all hauls and tags and is going to give it to somebody who does a lot of reviews. So my only real tip as to how to get more requests is to do reviews. It is also possible for you to email a publishing company yourself through like their marketing email, which can be found on their website, but generally a lot of them have a subscriber quota or like certain restrictions as to who they let on their lists. So I only decided that I wanted to start reaching out to publishing companies myself a few weeks ago, and the ones that I have heard from have been very nice. I'm not at the point where everyone would like me to be at yet, but I'm very close. So definitely, if you're in these smaller ranks of booktube at the moment, I would hold off on directly contacting people and wait for them to come to you. So basically, sit back, don't worry about it, focus on your channel as a whole, work on your reviewing techniques, and the requests will start to come. Now step two, once you have gotten this email, is to obviously take the requests. Do not take every single request you get. Only take books that you feel like you'll actually enjoy. Sure, at the end of the day, you'll have another book on your shelf, but that's a book that you must read and must review and share your honest opinions on, and I'll get to this later, but nobody likes to give a bad review. Everybody wants free books. Everybody wants more books, but what is the value of a book that you didn't really want? I highly recommend going through the synopsis of a book that is being offered to you or looking up reviews that are already out there for this book. Just generally checking out the book because you want to make sure that you actually want it. Also, something that I find really important when taking a review request is to consider the format that they're offering it to you in. I'd say about maybe 85% of the requests you're going to get are going to be ebooks because the authors who are trying to market themselves on booktube are either going to be self-published or fairly new to the writing industry, and they don't have the money to produce ARCs or free physical copies. Not everybody has an e-reader and not everybody likes ebooks, so don't feel bad for not taking an offer that you didn't really want anyways for that reason. I used to almost automatically deny all ebook requests because I didn't have an e-reader and I hated reading on my phone, especially if I didn't really like the synopsis to begin with. I was like, no, this isn't for me. I also recently bought a Kindle, so I'm definitely going to be more apt to taking ebook requests now, but that doesn't mean that I have to take every single one just because I'm able to. If I don't think I'm going to have the slightest chance of enjoying this book that's being offered to me, I'm not going to take it, and you shouldn't either. Just remember that it's your channel and you have every right to deny a request for any reason you want. The way I see it is, number one, sure, I get a free book out of it that I don't really need, but the author is getting potential buyers and customers for their works. So as a reviewer, we don't really get much else besides the book and possible credibility in the publishing world. Number two, we're the ones doing them the favor, so it's really your choice if you want to do it or not. In reality, you don't owe them anything, and they're not entitled to you actually reviewing it just because they asked. And number three, they've probably sent that email to 50 other booktubers, so if you don't review it, it's not going to wreck their life, okay? That being said, if you're going to deny a request, I do recommend you actually do them the courtesy of denying the request. You don't have to fully give them an explanation of anything. But you know, it's definitely nicer to send them an email saying something like, "Thank you so much for this opportunity. Your book sounds very promising, but unfortunately at the moment, I don't have the time to review all the books that I would like to. I will definitely be keeping an eye out for your works in the future, but thanks again for the opportunity." Short, simple, sweet, and polite. Learning your own personal do's and don'ts for accepting reviews is definitely something that you yourself are going to develop over time and not something that I can really teach you, but when you do get your request, just be aware of the situation and fully think it through before taking one. Now finally, step 3 is reading and reviewing. Now that you have a written agreement that you are going to be reviewing this book, I think it's kind of a common understanding that you actually have to read the book. If I receive a book in the mail that's from an author who sent it to me to review, I'm almost always going to start it right after the book that I'm reading when I receive it. I personally take my review copies very seriously, so I want to get them done right away. While I fully understand that this isn't everybody's job, it's not even my job, we all have lives outside of BookTube, but you do really kind of need to get it done. I personally think that after receiving a book to review, the review should be posted no later than a month to 2 months after the book has been given to you, but that's just personally me. If you receive a book in December and you don't post a review until March, that kind of looks like you're not really committed to working to publishers and it's not going to look that great for you. Sometimes you might receive an ARC, which is an advanced reader's copy that certain people get to read before the actual published date of the book. So if you are receiving an ARC, sometimes the author or the marketing team are doing like a blog tour where you're going to release the review a couple days before, or they just generally might want it on the actual release date of the book. So it might be helpful for you to already get into the gist of getting a book, reading it, and reviewing it right away. So once you have completed the book, I think it's really important to write and film that review right away, like I've said 10 times in this video. Again, I think it kind of goes without saying that you actually have to review it now. Now, I don't know how much the publishing industry actually looks into BookTube and specific booktubers, but nobody wants a rep as somebody who takes free books and doesn't review them. Only once have I ever received a book that I wasn't able to review because I was writing the review on my phone and then my phone broke, so I had to get a new one, so I lost the review, and at the time that I was ready to start filming it again, I had completely forgotten what happened in the book, and these were all circumstances that were completely out of my control, but I'm going to be kicking myself in the ass for it for a very long time because that's not the type of person I am and that's not the type of person I want to be. Now, if a situation like this happens to you where you're just completely not able to film a review, I'm not condoning this for people who are lazy and just don't want to review the book, but I have heard that certain publishers and authors, nothing really specific, but some people will be okay with you just talking about it in a haul or a video. So if you can't actually get a full proper review up, just definitely talk about it on your channel and mention that it was sent to you for review and, you know, give what you can. Whether it be Goodreads or in a haul or something, just mention it somewhere, and that way you're actually still holding up your end of the deal. Again, this is not in lieu of actually filming a proper review. This is just if you can't for whatever reason, you definitely want to still try and get your opinions out on it to your viewers. So make sure you actually film a review regardless of how long or how in-depth. Just give it some attention because that's what you promised. Now, when you are sent a book to review, I definitely recommend doing a spoiler-free review for your channel because the people who are reaching out to you and sending you these books, they want their books to be more well-known. If your review is going to have spoilers, it limits the audience of people who can watch it to people who have read the book, and you're being sent that book to grow the amount of people who know about it, not limit it. If you do have a lot of feelings on the book and want to go into specific details, maybe you should include a spoilery bit at the end of the video. That way people who haven't read it can still watch the majority of the video. Maybe you want to do 2 reviews, one non-spoiler for people who haven't read it and one that is spoilery. But in my experience, the best way to review a book is to make it spoiler-free. Now, when it comes to actually writing the review, you definitely want to be 100% honest. I feel like that's a given when it comes to reviewing books, but if you don't love the book, don't say you love it. Now, it is to my understanding on BookTube that when somebody reviews a book willingly, it's more the situation where it's like, I love this book, so I want to share all of my feelings on it. Now, unfortunately, while on your normal channel, you are able to pick and choose what books you want to review based on how much you like them, you're kind of obligated to review this book whether you liked it or not. I will tell you from firsthand experience, it is really hard to give a bad review to someone. You know, this author that's sending you a book, they're trying to make a career off of this, and they're kind of trusting you to hopefully up their success. And so it's really tough to sit there and tell your followers you didn't like it. The most important thing to remember while reviewing a book for somebody is that your duty is to the honesty of your channel and your viewers and not to the author's ego. No novel is all bad, so I'm sure you can find a few good things to throw in there if your review is mostly negative. Now, one more thing I do want to mention about the actual reviewing process of this situation is that once I actually upload the review, I like to either email it to the person who sent me the actual book or tweet it out to the author just so that somebody knows that I actually reviewed it. I don't know how this goes from the publishing side, like everything else I've said in this video, but I'm not sure if there's somebody who's just like periodically checking channels to see who actually reviewed the book or not. So just make sure somebody from the author's crew actually does see that you did it. So those are all of my tips on receiving and reviewing books. Again, this is just from my personal experiences. I'm not the most qualified on this topic, obviously. I'm definitely trying to better myself in these situations, so hopefully I will be more experienced in the future. And again, this is all based off of my own experiences, so yours could be totally different. So if you have a tip of your own concerning reading and reviewing books, leave a comment below because there's still so much all of us can learn. And on the off chance that there's somebody watching this video who is from the other side of the situation and you are the person that is sending booktubers books, leave a comment below and let us all know what we can do better for you. But that's it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you soon for a new one. Bye!